When did you decide that you wanted to pursue a career in costume design, and how did you become a part of the Fort Worth Opera family?
My career as a designer began in the late 1960s, shortly after I moved to Fort Worth. One of the theater professors at TCU called me and hired me to assist him in the costume studio because of my sewing skills, which I had learned as a young girl from my mother, who was an excellent seamstress. And then I continued to study at university and then continued to learn more on my own. This theater professor encouraged me to finish my degree and become a costume designer. And so I did. And shortly after I graduated, TCU hired me as their costume designer and to teach costume history, costume design, and costume construction. Early in the 1980s, the Fort Worth Opera called, would I be interested in being the designer for the children's opera and also as costume coordinator for the big operas. And I was thrilled to start at the opera then in the early 80s, and that happy beginning has continued to this day, as has my work at TCU.
Not only do you turn the two-dimensional design into three, but you are an essential part of the storytelling process in an opera, and your costumes define both the mood and the personality of a character and a scene. Tell us about the process of bringing sketches and fabric to life and your favorite challenges along the way.
Well, as you all know, costumes are one of the visual delights of the opera. And I think for both adults and children, taking the story and creating costumes for a character that help the singer tell the story, both to themselves and to the audience, is the designer's mission. Characters are revealed in the shape, in the color, the fabrics used in their costume, and whatever. Certainly aided by the makeup artist and the wig master. So how do costumes come to life? Well, they are in imagination, of course, in the mind of the costume designer. A character that is created in their mind, often in the same shape, color that appears on the stage. At least it works that way for me. Then fabric and the materials that the costume is going to be made of are assembled, and the costume technicians who begin their work, who build the costumes. They're pattern drafters, they're stitchers, they're finishers. And during that time that they're working, all the accessories are assembled. The hats, the gloves, the neckties, everything added on to the costume, and then the fittings commence. And it's important for the singer to be able to do what they need to do. Namely, they need to be able to breathe in their costume and be able to do the movements that are required of them. And the second, and I guess the third part of that for me, is they have to love their costumes or believe that their costumes are creating the character that they are creating, that they believe it and the audience believes it too.
What has been one of your most memorable moments working here at Fort Worth Opera over the years?
The most outstanding thing for me is watching the children at the final dress rehearsal of the opera at Bass Hall. Those students cheer and clap and are so appreciative at the end of the performance. It's just overwhelming to see. And the same thing happens at the schools for the children's operas. It's exciting to see students who may never have seen a live performance or have never seen an opera be so thrilled and excited to see a performance. And the other memory I have at the opera is also at the last dress rehearsal of Don Zanita's Daughter of the Regiment. And that concerns my grandson, who was then 7 years old, who absolutely adored Act One of the opera. And at intermission, his parents informed him that because it was a school night, they had to go home. And he started crying and loudly expressing, "I want to see Don Zanini," until his parents relented and he did get to see Act Two of The Daughter of the Regiment. I'm ready for the opera to come back.